Hello, everyone, and welcome to my home. Welcome back to Eatontown Voices. My name is Ali Mehdaoui, and tonight I want to have a conversation with you. Not an argument, not any political attacks, no personal attacks, simply a conversation. Because over the last several weeks, one topic has dominated discussions across Eatontown. Well, maybe two. But one specifically that I want to highlight today is the proposed municipal building project. And before we go any further, let me make my position clear. I support our police officers. My sister is a police officer. My stepfather is a former police officer. He retired. I support our borough employees. These are my people, my neighbors. I support safe working conditions. I support modern facilities. And yes, if Eatontown needs a new building, I am absolutely open to supporting a new building. The question has never been whether our employees deserve better. The question is, can we afford what is being proposed? And if not, what is the actual cost? Because once this decision is made, it will impact taxpayers, families, and future generations for decades. And that means we owe it to ourselves and to our children to ask the right questions. No emotional questions, no partisan questions, just factual questions. Recently, I sat down with a veteran public sector architect and planner with decades of experience designing municipal buildings, warehouses throughout New Jersey. And I'm not sharing his identity because he specifically requested privacy. And before anyone says that's unfair, let's address that directly. A resident recently challenged me and said, if we're going to trust your information, shouldn't we know who is your source? That's a fair question. In fact, that is a very good question. And my answer remains the same. I agree that information should be challenged. I agree that facts should be scrutinized. I agree that people should not simply be trusted by somebody's opinion because they just say so. But here's where I think we're missing the larger issue. The burden of proof shouldn't be on a resident that is asking the questions. The burden of proof should be on the governing body asking taxpayers to support a project that could ultimately cost us tens of millions of dollars. Because nobody elected me yet. Nobody hired me. Nobody approved nearly $1 million in professional fees. The mayor and the council members did $1 million. So while I respect every resident who asks tough questions of me, I would respectfully ask to direct those very same questions towards the governing body. Has an independent cost estimate been completed? If yes, where is it? If not, why not? That's protocol. Can this entire project, including hard costs and soft costs, be completed within available funding? If not, will additional borrowing be required? Those are not political questions. Those are taxpayer questions. Now let's talk about what this architect told us. The very first thing he said shocked me. He said that the municipality size of Eatontown, roughly 13,500 residents, he would generally expect a municipal building somewhere in the range of 20 to 25,000 square feet. Now, that's not a hard rule. Every town is different. Every department is different. But that is his starting point. The proposed Eatontown project, approximately 65,000 square feet. Let that sink in for a second. 65,000 square feet. More than double, potentially approaching triple what he would generally expect for a municipality our size. Now, immediately, some people would say, Ali, are you against a new building? Nope, made that very, very clear. And this is where people keep missing the point. The architect repeatedly said something that I think is critically important. He said, the conversation is not build new versus renovate. The conversation is, are we right sizing this building? That is a completely different conversation. And that is the conversation I believe residents deserve to have. Because according to him, the process should work like this. First, determine what the town needs. Second, determine what the town can afford. Third, design a building that fits within those limits. It's simple, common sense. And just like buying a house, most families like you and I, we don't walk in a mansion and say, I'll take it and I'll figure out the cost afterwards. No, we establish a budget first, then we design within that budget. The concern that he raised was that this process appears to be happening in reverse. And that brings us to the numbers. The architect explained that municipal construction costs are commonly discussed in terms of cost per square foot. He said that based on today's market, a police and municipal facility could easily fall within the range of $550 to $700 per square foot, depending on the spaces involved. So let me make simple math for you. Today is about $700. 65,000 square feet times $700 per square foot. That is $45.5 million. Construction only. Construction only. No furniture, no technology, no security systems. A key fob is about $1,000, by the way. No professional fees, no contingencies, no escalation, no moving costs, no soft costs, nothing. Nothing at all. Just construction. And the funding that is currently available, well, we've heard it since October, approximately $47 million. So the concerned citizen that raised a simple question is valid, and it is simple. If construction alone approaches the available funding, where does everything else come from? And that is the question residents deserve answers to. Now let's talk about something else that he emphasized, the architect that is, soft costs. So most people, even I, when I hear a project cost, I assume that's just the building complete. It's not. The architect explained that municipal projects typically involve hard costs and soft costs. Hard costs are construction. Soft costs include professional services, engineering, architecture, furniture, technology, insurance, one of the biggest bills, contingencies, escalation in case we need to add more things that were not planned at the very beginning, permitting, legal expenses, and a whole lot more. The list goes on and on. He estimated for us that many projects ultimately land somewhere around 70-30 split. 70% is the hard costs, 30% soft costs. Meaning, if someone only talks about construction costs, they are not talking about the entire project. And that is exactly why residents need clarity. I don't think I'm saying anything controversial here. Another topic discussed was asbestos. Many residents have heard, and it's on the record in the minutes, that asbestos is one of the reasons the building must come down. Cool. The architect's response surprised me. He said, even if you demolish the building, flatten it out, asbestos remediation still has to occur. You don't avoid that cost. You still have to pay it. So whether you renovate or demolish, which led him to another important point. He suggested that if another building is necessary, the preferred approach is to often build the new facility first, move everyone in, and then demolish the old building. He pointed to multiple examples where municipalities did exactly just that. Build first, move people once, then demolish. Again, whether people agree or disagree, that's part of the discussion residents deserve to hear. Now let's talk about what may be the most important issue of all, the cost estimate. The architect was stunned when he learned that no independent line item estimate appears to have been publicly produced. In his own projects, he explained that independent estimates are performed multiple times throughout the design process. One at schematic design, one later in design development, and one right before bidding. Well, you gotta say why? Well, because governments need to know whether they are on budget or over budget or under budget. I don't think this is controversial, ladies and gentlemen. It's simple. We do it in our own houses. That is how responsible planning works. His reaction was simple. If nearly $1 million has already been paid, spent, to these individuals that have been sitting and talking to us, where is the estimate? Again, $1 million spent and not a single estimate. That's not an accusation. It's a question. It's a fair question. A taxpayer question. Another issue discussed was access to documents. The architect recommended requesting the complete and current set of progress construction document for the proposed municipal building. You may say, why are you going so deep? Well, because residents deserve to know what is actually being designed, what is included, what is not included. Is the gun range included or not? And if it is, great. Give us the cost estimate for it all and what assumptions are being made. Now let's talk about something else that came up repeatedly in our discussions with residents. Trust. One resident recently commented that my posts feel like propaganda and that our mayor has always been accessible. My response is simple. I have no personal issue with Mayor Anthony Tallarico. We attend the same church, San Dorothea, right here in Eatontown. We've spoken many, many times about many things privately and in public. However, intentions does not automatically mean good decision making. It's never been personal. It's not about attacking the mayor. It's not about attacking council members. It's not about attacking employees. That's not appropriate. This is about asking questions before tens of millions of dollars are spent. Questions that should be answered regardless to who occupies the mayor's office. Questions I would ask administrations, Republican, Democrats, independents, anybody. And finally, I want to address the source issue one last time. See, the reason some people remain anonymous is because multiple individuals have personally told me, I was told, Ali Mehdaoui, ME Studios in Eatontown, business owner and taxpayer, I was told I will not work with you because I got a phone call from next door. That's my truth. That is what I have been told. Now, I'm a candidate. I'm a business owner. I am willing to take criticism. I am willing to take political attacks. I'm willing to stand in front of a camera and a microphone. Many others are not. And I don't believe they should be forced into a political crossfire simply because they shared information or concerns privately. No resident should go through that. And what matters isn't who said what. What matters is the information accurate? Which brings us back to where we started. The entire discussion comes down to a few simple questions. Has an independent line item estimate been completed? If yes, where is it? Can the entire project, including hard costs and soft costs, be completed within the available $47 million? If not, how much additional funding will be required? Will any additional borrowing be necessary? And if borrowing is necessary, how much? Those aren't political questions. Those are community questions. And those are the questions I hope to get answered at the upcoming council meeting. Because at the end of the day, this building won't belong to the mayor. It won't belong to council. It won't belong to me. It will belong to the taxpayer of Eatontown, to the future of Eatontown, to my children and your children. That's who's going to pay that tax bill. We need to make these decisions with informed information before this decision becomes irreversible. So thank you for listening. And as always, stay informed, stay engaged, and keep asking the questions. I'll see you in council meeting.
Still marketing your business like it's the Yellow Pages era? Welcome to ME Studios, where local solopreneurs and small business owners catch up with the digital world and take over it. We help you go from invisible to undeniable. Featured on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. Plus, gain press exposure in over 100 to 300 major media outlets like Fox, ABC, CBS, NBC, and the CW. Right here in Eatontown, New Jersey, just steps away from the soon-to-be Netflix studios, our multi-unit facility is built for creators, entrepreneurs, and visionaries. Stop marketing like it's 1995. Start building your digital authority today with a team that gets it.